Call this July 13th, 2026 meeting of the Mobilmire Town Council to order. All members are present. Welcome all of those in attendance. We got a full room today, so like I said, I always like to see that. First item on the agenda is the consent agenda, which is the approval of the June 9th minutes, approval of the finance reports, and budget amendment number 9.
I have a question on that. On the financial statement, under income revenues, the $7.42 is shown in red under budget remaining. It doesn't have the brackets around it. But if you treat it as a credit, it does not balance at the bottom. At the bottom, the difference between the budget and the year-to-date is the figure that's at the bottom. So if you treat it as a credit, it's like $14, twice $7.42 off at the bottom. So it didn't have a budget figure. So I'll let Sheila decide whether it should be in the black or the red.
Yeah, it should be in the black. It's just the oversight. I'll fix it.
Make a motion, we approve consent agenda.
With the changes to the,
Sure.
I second.
Any further discussion? All in favor of passing the consent agenda with the exception of correcting the line item stated, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have public comment today.
Yes, sir, we do. Al Edwards is first.
I need to stand up.
No,
Yes.
no.
Whatever you're most comfortable
You
with.
don't have to stand everywhere.
We try to stay informal.
Okay. I, along with my wife Dawn, own Alco Electric in Nashville. I'm going to try to stay on script. We were contacted by town staff to provide a proposal to install a generator at this town building we are currently in. After providing proposal via email on March 16th of this year, we received a reply from town staff stating that the town had decided to move forward with installing the generator, that funds had been allocated to be used in the coming fiscal year to July 1st. I replied that there was another slightly less expensive generator available that wasn't previously thought available. This was the reply. Since the council had already approved the 26, just go with that unit. If we were to change, it would have to go through the approval process all over again, and that will not happen until May. Thanks for checking. So now, not only do we have an email stating, matter of fact, I have a copy of the emails because I think it might be advantageous to just pass them. Sure. So now, not only do we have an email stating that the town had approved the generator and that funds had been allocated, I have an email stating to move forward and time seems to be of the essence. So we ordered the generator, and when it arrived, we felt the need to get it as soon as possible. We knew we were about to get busy with other jobs. No disrespect to town staff, but nowhere in this email chain is there mention to not install the generator until after July 1st. Or is there a mention of a need to wait for a contract? We do electrical construction and repair work for many municipalities, government agencies, emergency services, county agencies, and so forth. State of North Carolina, we represent, we're approving for them also. We do not always have to get a contract signed. Sometimes we do have to get a purchase order. We have worked with the town of Mulberry for many years. We were actually the subcontractor hired by the GC when this building was renovated into a town hall. The most recent was the wiring of the new LED roadside sign. Town staff sent an email, asked for a price, and told us to complete the work. This is the method of operation that we have previously worked with when asked to do work for the town and with some other government agencies and municipalities also. I can give you many references and phone numbers and contact people if you like. But in the email from Mayor Funderburg, he stated, and I quote, "In the future, when working with any government agency, there are very specific rules that must be followed. And at the town, we follow a specific process that keeps us within those rules. No single member of town government is empowered to deviate from that process. I know you are trying to be helpful, and I appreciate that. The mistake was Edwards, and we handled that accordingly," end quote. I have that email, but I'm not going to pass that one out. I am here to say that when the generator arrived, we installed it on we came on June the 2nd to install it, or set the generator. We were going to set it in what we thought was the best place possible. In trying to decide that, I needed to know where the septic tank was located, as I remembered from previous work here that it was really close to the building. I knew Mr. Jackson was on town council, and I remembered he knew where the septic tank was located. I called him, and as always, if he is able to help, he does, just as many of you in this room would do the same thing. We left after setting in place and waited a few days to see if anyone objected to where the location was. We heard no objections. We started to do preliminary work for the install. We have only done preliminary work as we will have to schedule a drop service with Duke Energy and have county building inspections come to approve all work before it is released back to Duke Energy to make final connections back to the building. This still has not taken place. Hopefully this will clear up any misunderstanding about what Mr. Jackson did that day. If any mistake was done, it was our mistake, or maybe in the email that we received. But in either case, no one was trying to do anything without full council approval. We were only operating as we usually do with the town and others. I look back at the June 9 meeting on YouTube and in the email received from Mayor Funderburg, and I see Mayor Funderburg accused Mr. Jackson of a mistake without getting the full backdrop of what took place. I will stop at this point from stating facts and state that I personally feel that Mayor Funderburg owes Mr. Jackson an apology. Someone joked at that meeting about going to jail for the town. Well, if Mr. Jackson were put on trial for loving and supporting this town and community, I'm pretty sure he would be found guilty as charged. As for the generator, our company will do whatever is deemed necessary. We will complete the installation or we will remove it, whatever the town asks us to do.
Thank you for clarifying some of those points, Al. Anyone? Okay. I think we have one more. Thank you, Al.
Sheila?
Yes. Excuse me.
Didn't we have another on the
We
list?
did, I'm sorry. Brian Edwards would like to speak.
I'm gonna stand up. I think that's the right thing to do. But
I'm sorry, Brian.
No, it's all right. No, I'm doing it because I feel like it's the right thing to do in the situation that we've got here, okay? First, I'd like to thank everyone for letting me have the opportunity to speak as a citizen. Sheila sent me the agenda, so the first thing I would like to comment first on, item on the agenda is term limits that's mentioned. I feel that Mulberry has a population size that doesn't have a population size that Spring Hope and Nashville does. I'm getting off track here. I would like to comment first on the item on the agenda related to term limits. I feel that if Mulberry had the population size that Spring Hope and Nashville had, then term limits make sense because there's a larger pool of people to select from. But due to the population size of Mulberry, the pool to pick from is smaller. Therefore, I do not agree that term limits are needed at this time for the town of Mulberry advisory and committees. Then I'd like to move on to my second item related to the comment on the June 9th town council public hearing, specifically related to the generator that Al just brought up. He cleared up a lot my questions that I had. But one of the things that was on the last town meeting is that Sheila brought up in the meeting that they had only got a quote for it. But we clearly see that there was an email that was sent to Al Edwards at Alco Electric advising them to go ahead and order the generator and install it. So in the business that I'm in, we get customers that get quotes from us for components, and we get emails all day long. And when they go with the price, they send an email back and say, hey, go ahead and order this and get it delivered. So in the state of North Carolina, an email is a contracting document, a binding contracting document. So I guess the question is, who authorized Sheila to send that email in April ordering and asking for the installation of the generator? That's the question that everybody needs to be asking, is why was that email sent in April? Okay? Then the next item. And if we didn't have the money allocated until July 1st, then why was the email sent in April ordering and asking for the installation of the generator? That's the question that needs to be asked by the town council. Okay? That's all I got on the email related to the generator. I'm going to move on to some other things. Also, the materials that all the council gets. Now, I got a copy of the agenda, but all the information that everybody gets for these meetings is public record. And the town should have it so citizens can get it and read and see everything that the town is going to be discussing. The only thing that shouldn't be included in that is any materials, matters involving personnel issues or information protected by attorney-client privilege, which are appropriately discussed during a closed session in accordance with applicable law. The failure to make these public records available for public review before the meeting raises concerns about transparency. It may create the appearance that the mayor and town clerk are withholding information that should otherwise be accessible to the public. And lastly, the mayor is an elected official and as such is expected to maintain open lines of communication and transparency with both the town council and the citizens of Momire. The citizens of Momire can review the mayor's conduct by watching the town council meeting video and draw their own conclusions as to whether the mayor's actions reflect the standards of transparency, professionalism, and service that are in the best interest of the town of Momire. And that's all I got. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Brian. Anybody else? We'll move on to the fire report. Mr. Jackson.
All right, for the month of June from the Momire Fire Rescue, they had 7 primary fire calls. They had 12 primary calls outside of our district. They had 17 rescue calls. Had 9 outside our primary district. Had a total of 45 for the month. A trend for the calls. For the year 2020, they had 328 calls. For 2025, they had 565 calls. And so far, for 6 months this year, they've had 285 calls. And that's all I got at the moment. Unless Colleen can add anything, everything's up and running as far as equipment.
Thank you, sir. Jackson did put his audit in Q1. I believe this is due for the next.
No COG meetings this month. That's all I've got.
Any others? Brian Edwards with the planning board up there.
At the Tuesday, June 30th planning board meeting, the board continued our review of the recommendations from Joshua Hollis related to the town code. After reviewing the recommendations to replace town limits with corporate limits, the board unanimously agreed. Planning board chair asked for a motion to send the completed review of the final draft of the town code to the town council for their review. The motion was second, and all members voted to send the final draft of the town code to the town council vote so they can start their review process. Once the town council completes their review with no additional changes, if there are no additional changes, the final draft of the town code must be sent to the town attorney, Scott McKellar, for his review of the text changes for compliance with all North Carolina state laws. For all of you council members that got a copy of the rough draft, what I did was I struck through the current language and we replaced it and highlighted lettering in green that shows you the new language that we're replacing. So just wanted to point that out. The board then moved on to review comments from Joshua Hollis on section 3134, massage establishments. Joshua Hollis suggested substantially revising this section. The board reviewed suggested section name change to massage and bodywork therapy and suggested language change developed by the planning board chair. The board reviewed and agreed to the section name change and language change. This section will be sent over to Joshua Hollis for review to see if there is anything that needs to be adjusted to the new language. The board then moved over to review section 3112, temporary outdoor event, and section 3136, outdoor events other. Joshua Hollis recommended not using no permitting required based only on General Statute 130A-250. General Statute 130A-250 deals with certain food sanitation exemptions for nonprofit and similar organizations from section 3112, temporary outdoor. The planning board chair took the suggested language from Joshua Hollis and adjusted section 3112. The board agreed to the changes. The board also reviewed section 3136 and agreed to change the name of this section to outdoor event venue and to copy the language from section 3112 and to limit to no more than 7 consecutive days in lieu of 4 weeks. Then the board moved on to review the comments from Joshua Hollis on section 3140, adult sexually oriented businesses. These types of businesses are protected by the First Amendment. The board reviewed and left and limited the districts it's allowed. The board moved on to reviewing Joshua Hollis's comments on sweepstakes cafes, internet cafe, and electronic gaming operations and agreed that this section can likely be deleted. The board agreed unanimously to remove the section from the ordinance. The board then moved on to review the comments from Joshua Hollis on section 1511 related to commercial data centers being prohibited. The board reviewed Joshua Hollis' suggested language change, and agreed to the language change. Joshua Hollis recommended having the town attorney review the planning board review the planning, and at this time, what I would like to ask for is the town council's permission to reach out to the town attorney to have Scott McKellar review the section 3140 adult and sexually oriented businesses, and also to have him review the section 1511 commercial data centers to review the language to make sure we're all in compliance with any North Carolina state and federal laws. That's something I need the board to think about and give me the okay to contact the town attorney. And then the last thing I'd update is, I had the opportunity to, Darren and I took the opportunity, we went to Nash County. Nash County had their, Unified Development Ordinance Update meeting on Wednesday, June 24th. It's the proposed changes that Nash County is going to have to their Unified Development Ordinance. It was a very good presentation presented by Weathers Ravenel. That's the local government consultant that is working with the county to help update their ordinances. Very good meeting, well presented for their proposed changes. And the public comment time was really interesting. All in total, the meeting lasted about 3 hours. So just an update on what the county's doing, and the purpose of me going and attending was to see what the county is working to changing their ordinance, to see if there's anything that the town of Momire would need to look at adjusting in ours. And that's all I got.
Thank you for taking time to do that.
Yes.
Yep.
I think that was a very positive that you took the time to go.
It was very interesting. I really, the way that the commissioners had that set up, as well as Adam Tyson, he's the planner for the county, the way they ran that meeting was very well organized, and I'd never been to one, so if you get a chance, you need to go to see one of their public hearings.
So, as far as Brian requesting permission from you guys about moving 31, or sending 3140 and 1511 to Scott. What do you think?
Make a motion, we approve, send it.
Second.
So it's just a matter of me sending him an email, he reviewing it, and then any feedback he gives us, we would take it to the planning board. We would discuss it and make any kind of the changes or decisions from what he's telling us,
From his recommendation.
from his recommendation. But being that he's the town attorney, obviously when you start talking about going to the town attorney, then obviously there's gonna be hours of service that he's gonna
Right, yeah.
provide, so I need to have the town council's approval to do that.
Well, we have motion and second. Is there any further discussion? All right, all in favor of approving Brian Edwards to send sections 31.40 and 15.11 to the town attorney for his review, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving to community outreach with Taryn Edwards.
So I'm excited to say that the time is getting short. We've got this new flyer that has the times that are of the event going around Momire and Nashville. I believe it's been put up a little bit in Rocky Mount, and I'll pass that around. I've got an update for everyone. There's the list of them, if you'll help.
Oh, sure. I do. You get one.
So the one thing that I did just look at and realize I neglected to put on the handout is that, that we've got the goodie bags that
okay.
are, gonna be passed out. There's 250 for the 250 celebration.
Right, yeah.
But it has a flag.
Okay.
Sorry that it's wrinkled. It's got a lapel pin and an ink pen with a Old Glory bookmark. It's got a bottled water because we expect it to be hot that day, not like today. And then we've got some Cracker Jacks.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bit of something. And yes, it has been a long time, but they do still have the prize in them. So in update, all 4 of the signs have been placed, including a double-sided sign at Momire Baptist Church and one on the east side of town near the, I'm sorry, I don't know the appropriate term for the traffic speed sign thing. And then the last one is on the west side of town towards Spring Hope near Bass Plant Farm. And the flyers like I just showed you and that are at the top have been placed at local businesses around town. We've got them at, we're planning on putting them up at community colleges, still working on doing that and getting them sort of circulated. And if you have any ideas of places where we can put them, or where you know that you have access to, please let me know, because I have more of the large ones.
Did y'all put them around the existing churches, neighboring churches?
We have reached out to Holly Grove at Dr. Quinn at Holly Grove, but as far as and there's another one. Oh, there's another one.
Mount Zion or?
I'm going to Mount Zion and the Truth. Yes, Truth. Is the other one. That's the new name. That's why I couldn't think of it. So we're still working on that. But if y'all know of anybody that could hand out or help me pass out some more, or help us pass out some more, that would be greatly appreciated. The community colleges is one of the areas that we're focusing on because the Freedom Truck is basically an educational tool and it's meant for the younger generation to learn the history. So because the schools are out right now, we're focusing or trying to push.
The library in Nashville
Yes,
might
library.
do that, especially one of those things that you just showed us. They might would put up that, because they do stuff like that, Tara.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see. I'm happy to say that traffic control will be handled by the North Carolina State Highway Patrol
I see that.
free of charge.
I'm good.
So that saves us right at between $800 to $1,000, or maybe even more, depending on how much traffic we get into. But they were very happy to help us, and we greatly appreciate that. We partnered with Momire Baptist Church to hand out bottled water to help with the heat, and they're going to speak to attendees about the church and help with the event.
Right.
The portal potties have been arranged, and we have they'll be delivered that afternoon. And that afternoon, the day of the 23rd, which is the day that the Freedom Truck will come in, and then the event is on the 24th and 25th. Let's see. We were able to spend only about half of our budget for last fiscal year, and that was in regards to not being able to get in touch with some of our vendors in time. But I asked that the council keep that in mind, because some of the Freedom Truck money that we were expecting to come out of last fiscal year is going to have to come out of this fiscal year's budget. So when we're doing other events and it looks like we're asking for a lot of money, just keep that in mind, please. Let's see. And the money that we're expecting to come out of, the budget, are the $850 roughly for the Porta Johns and then about $400 to $500 in newspaper ads. There will be a ad in the paper next week. Oh, and there are radio ads running now twice a day on, I believe it's 98.5, the Big Dog. Twice a day from the 11th to the 25th.
I saw it pop up on Facebook too.
Yes, there is a Facebook event that we've gotten some substantial responses or interest. So if you're on Facebook and you've got any kind of following, or even if you're not on Facebook or not on Facebook much, see if you can push that out to some of your friends and people that you know. Let's see, I think that's all. I'm concerned about the heat.
Right.
And this is not I'm wondering if maybe some fans, renting a fan, those big, huge fans for the industrial, if maybe one or two of those could possibly be rented, just to keep air moving. But that's just a thought to toss up for recommendation. I don't have
Is the truck air conditioned?
the truck itself is air conditioned.
Okay.
Been
My
the line
concern-
outside.
Right, my concern is the line outside.
I get you. I just wondered.
wondering-
I've got one big one. If you let Brian look at it and see if he thinks it'll
Okay.
work.
And I
Okay.
got one
Okay.
around one.
If I could interject here, I'd like to say something.
And it's
I
on
don't
it.
understand
Mine's-
if it's at the church, why can't the church open the doors to the gym and allow the line to run through the church where it is air conditioned? So that people will not have to worry about passing out from the heat when they have a great big gym sitting there that they could run the line through.
We have not discussed that with the church as far as unlocking that building. I didn't, because it was just discussed to be outside.
What was discussed with the church was a first aid station inside the church, but a lot of that depends on where the line itself runs.
Yeah, the line's gonna be out next to the trailer, correct?
Yeah, what I'm thinking about doing is keeping it on the grass so that they're not standing on the hot asphalt. So we would run it to the east side of the building and down in front, under the trees, where we don't have stanchions to rope people through like Kings Dominion and Busch Gardens do, but
Right.
people can figure that part out. But we're hoping that maybe we'll have, not raining, but an overcast day.
Yeah.
That's probably hoping for too much, but so we'll get your fan and your fan.
Yeah, I think that'll take
And
care of
that should move plenty of, and then the people moving through the trucks, because I don't foresee anybody staying, because there's not any, event. And the church is gonna be handing out cold water, so that's gonna be a big help. And we can have, a tent or two, just for extra shade. And, Pastor Martin did say that if there was an emergency or somebody got way too hot, that we could go inside and help them cool off. But like you mentioned, that was a first aid
Did
thing.
y'all mention anything to EMS about being on call, being stationed?
I didn't know we could do that. We can do that?
Mm-hmm.
Then
Well, some of the
definitely-
first responders to
Yeah.
send the fire rescue.
Yeah, we can do that. Who do I get in touch with?
Colleen, who would you,
I will get in touch with Chase because he's out of town
Chase
right now.
Bass?
Okay,
But I'll
I'll
check
give
with
you
him.
his number.
okay, all right. And that concludes my blurb. Thank you.
Appreciate what you've done.
Sure.
Yep.
I suspect, guys, just based on some of the feedback I've seen, that you're gonna have a whole lot more people than you think.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
So, that's a good problem to have, but it does create its own, you
Yes,
know,
Yes,
things to think about and deal with, but
thank you very much.
excited to see it.
We are too. And we're hoping that, all of you get an opportunity to take a stroll through, if you get the chance.
I know people are noticing the signs because they've asked about it.
Really? Awesome.
I've had right many people ask.
What is it?
What we're about.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Taryn.
Thank you.
Let us roll into the new business. First item is the state health care plan. New rates are out. Most of us have it turned open to that. If you take a peek, there is some increase.
Well, that's just through December.
That's through December.
The rates may possibly change. They're switching back from Aetna to Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
Right, yeah, I heard that this week.
That's just what it is increased from now to December 31st. I'll have to update again.
As of right now, there's no action to take on that because obviously it just gets paid out of the budget line item. But I wanted everybody to be aware. There's actually a lot of those things on the agenda this month, including the update on attendance policy and all that as they started. It's not a proposition. This is kind of a compilation of some other towns around us and things like that, which obviously some of it will apply to us and some of it won't. But something that we do need to actually pay attention to a bit. One of my favorites was what attendance is, and one of those things was to review meeting materials in advance and actively participate in discussions and decision making. What little I watch the meetings, that is not a universal thing. Not everybody shows up ready to go. I want to throw some credit Brian's way. He has showed up ready to play ball at every meeting. He's got not only what they're going to work on, he's actually got excess in case they happen to breeze through something. So I appreciate the enthusiasm and the work ethic on that. Not everybody obviously is the same, but I want to point out the positive one of it. And what has prompted some of this is there has been some question and discussion about members not there for several meetings in a row. Again, this is all coming from outside, as well as there have been a couple of questions at times about residency requirements on the Momire committee, which I personally don't think is a problem, but
Outreach.
yeah. I think from an outreach standpoint, cares. But, you know, if it were council or planning board, that would matter. So again, to me, this is something that I hope you guys will spend a little bit of time in and kind of come back with, hey, this sounds like something we might want to explore or not explore. Again, ultimately, it's up to you guys. I just wanted to make sure that you had the tools in your toolbox. Anything further on that one? All right, next piece. And this is actually a development piece for Sheila. Local government, or I'm sorry, School of Government is putting together a class for Fundamentals of Local Government Budget and Fiscal Control Act. Things obviously change fairly regularly. This is going to be from August 3rd through 5th in Asheville, and the cost is $125. Sheila would like to attend, and
Plus
I think
travel.
it'd be a good idea. Mileage.
Zoom, I don't
It's
have
just
to
a
travel.
Zoom. It's a Zoom, so she doesn't have to do anything. She can do it virtually.
I'll make a motion, we send her, support it.
I second.
Any further discussion? All in favor of Sheila signing up for the Fundamentals of Local Government Budget and Fiscal Control Act, that's a mouthful, August 3rd through 5th, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Be sure they're aware they'll have to pay me for that day. That's not a day I'm supposed to be here.
Okay.
Oh, because there's a Tuesday or a Thursday in there.
Correct.
That's an additional payroll day.
Then be sure to make a motion to pay me for that.
Make a motion that we
Yeah, pay
Would-
Sheila, yeah.
pay Sheila for the additional day that she would be at work here.
And I second.
Any more discussion on that? All right, all in favor of paying Sheila for the extra day of payroll to take the class, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, next thing is the Mideast Commission contract update. Again, just to put it in front of you thing. If you notice in section 3 of that contract, the contract does expire the last day of this year. So we need to, it's more for planning at this point, need to make sure that we can get as much of that communication back and forth with him. We'll have to re-up after that if we do that.
Hopefully, we'll just have other things that we have to send them to an email and,
Right.
because the board's pretty much handling everything. You know, I'm going through the list of things that, that was gathered in the very beginning about what needed to be looked at. So we're going
Did
to,
any changes in it?
yeah, we're gonna have some adjustment to the zoning ordinance.
Right, yeah.
Just, you know, what we did is we tackled the town code first, and you all are gonna review that. Now we're going through the development standards, well, the ordinance itself, and so once we get through all that, we'll do the same thing, we'll hand it off to you all to review. Anytime we have questions in the meeting, we're sending an email to Joshua Hollis, and there's a new guy named Cameron. So really, all I see is we just need them for bouncing things off of them, make sure we're following state statutes and making sure that our language reflects that.
Response is pretty good though, through
Yes.
email, all
Yeah.
that's working.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And this new guy, Cameron, I assume is helping him. So we have had better response.
Good.
So Sheila, I need to sign this.
Yes, ma'am, please. They also need to make a motion that they'll continue the contract.
Well, I make a motion, we continue the contract with, Medes Commission.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor of continuing the contract with Mideast, say aye.
Uh,
Any opposed? Motion carries.
We're going to get that to Sheila. Please. Thank you.
All right, next item is the agenda, or on the agenda is the generator itself.
Fine.
So we did, as you see, get some clarification from the town attorney. Like I said before, I wanted somebody who had a fiduciary responsibility to the town to make that call. Here we are. I don't think the option C scenario that's on there is an option, truthfully. So the choice is between A and B. I will not read this all aloud because it is privileged information. I will just read the highlights. Option A is to adopt a budget amendment for last year's fiscal year, but that then means we have to find the money. The other option is to put a contract in place with the vendor. Thank you, Al, for clarifying that the work was not to a completion point, because that does make a big difference for our purposes. Get that contract in place so that we can then complete the job and pay out. Now, the difference between wiring that and doing the generator is a statutory difference with a large project, which this being 8% of our budget is a fairly large project, does require the contract process, where something like that is simpler. And I do understand that there is some confusion there. I want to clarify that confusion. With a large project, we have to follow that process. And it has to be all of us.
Why was the email sent then? I realize I'm not supposed to talk, but why was the email sent in April?
That was after, I agree that the language of the email is not what it should be. I agree. We had not at that time allocated the funds. The funds didn't get allocated until last month. So that is another piece that we need to correct in the future, for sure. I agree. So.
Then you owe that man right there an apology. You owe that man an apology. I don't care what you think, you owe that man an apology. You berated him in that meeting.
I asked him questions in that meeting. I did not berate him. And I'm sorry the questioning is tough.
You didn't get all the facts. You didn't get all the facts, though.
I was trying to gather the facts.
But you didn't stop and contact Alco Electric and get all the facts.
And the reason I didn't, what was the first question I asked? Whether it was donated? Because that would have made a difference. Now, Edward, I am sorry if you felt like I was berating you. That was not my intent. I was trying to clarify.
Well, I'm sorry the whole thing happened like it did. I think it was a complete misunderstanding.
I agree.
I didn't know the interaction between Sheila and Al Co-Electric. I didn't call for him to bring it. I didn't order it. I didn't tell him to deliver it.
Yeah.
I was asked to help as far as location of items and on property, and that's what I did. So.
And I think that going forward, that we all need to make sure that we are all involved in those decisions. Because, like I said, even if we had spoken, I couldn't make that call, one way or the other. It needs to be council decision. We are elected as a council for a purpose. I don't get to make those calls. I have to do what y'all say. as has been said before. So.
I would have loved to have seen if there was a problem going forward to call and ask about it, talk about it. I was blindsided at the last meeting.
That's fair.
I had no idea any of that was an issue. And there again, like I did that night, if I did anything wrong, I apologize. But
That's fair, and in the future we'll do that.
If I'm reading this correctly, unless it would cause Alco Electric any problem, it seems to me that option B would be the most viable
It looks the neatest and cleanest to me, yes.
option for appropriating the funds. But
I'm actually glad Al is here because I can ask you a direct question. What kind of timeline, if we were to say hypothetically today, all right, let's go ahead and finish so we can get it paid, what kind of timeline are we looking at?
Depends on Duke Energy's schedule.
Gotcha. Okay. And the reason that I ask that is, once said contract is written, it's still got to come in front of the four of you guys again for approval. So if that means we have to have a special session, that's what I'm getting at. Is do we need to have a special session, or would it be a next month thing? I mean, I think the special session is probably the most time effective way to do it. But again, not my call.
it'd be fine with me.
Yeah,
I mean, we
me
can
too.
make arrangements to
I mean, if
run
it's
up
2
here
months,
for
it's
a few
fine. I
minutes.
mean, it don't matter to me.
Right, okay. And that's the thing, I just want to make sure we're not getting ourselves in a bind either, so.
So are you doing a special meeting, or are you gonna wait till August?
Al's already bought a generator, right?
I
Especially
prefer-
you guys.
I prefer we act.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be a one-topic meeting, it'll take 15 minutes.
Does that need to be in the form of a motion? I would make the motion that we would have a special call meeting to deal with appropriating the funds for the generator.
And approving the contract.
And approving the contract as stated there in option B.
Okay. I
If
second.
that makes sense.
Any further discussion on that? All in favor of getting the contract in place and scheduling a special session at a later date to approve the contract so that work may be completed, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. You have in your envelope, and we don't have to pull it out to get into it today, this will be hopefully next month's largest item of business will be to go over the updated town code. As Brian was explaining before the meeting, where they made changes, it's a scratch out and agree. I know some of it's a little bit on the legalese side, and some of it's a little simpler. This is the easier of the two. Once we get into the zoning side, it's going to be more eyes crossed. But there's exactly 31 pages in what, 30 days, so I think that gives everybody a chance to read up, make notes. If there's any suggestions or anything like that, and ultimately, you guys are the final say on it, so if you you need to send it back to planning board, you can, but you don't have to. You can make the change if it's on that day.
Well, I'd like you to address one thing, or I'd like to address something.
Fire away.
As far as posting stuff for this meeting, we're always mandatory to post the agenda. And if anyone is to request the information for those meetings, then it is forwarded to them. We don't have to publicize it for everybody to be able to print it off. All they have to do is pick up the phone, email me, and I will be happy to send them all the paperwork that I send the council for their meetings.
Oh, okay.
The only thing we are mandatorily have to do is to post the agenda and the date and time for this meeting, which I do every month.
I didn't say you didn't.
And I also do not appreciate that I'm trying to be the one that's railroaded for this generator thing, because I was the one that tried to find this damn solution for the problem that developed from all of this mess. And to Al, I'm sorry you do not understand the email that I sent you. I'm sorry you did not understand it, but I did tell you that it didn't have to allot it till July 1st, after July 1st. But if you'll send the contract to Edward or Mr. Thunderbird, I'll be sure that you get paid when they allot the money for it.
I suggest sending it to the mayor. I wouldn't send it to Edward or councilman, send it to the mayor.
That way they can respond and everything is perfect. I will not be the scapegoat for this generator. You can put that on the record. Done, that's all I need to say. You can continue.
Does the council have anything else? If not, I'd take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You are adjourned.